ready. This is going to be exciting.
Here the Geico restart zone to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
They say everything's bigger in Texas, and that includes the drama. After 14 races in the Goat Locker SAVE22 Truck Series, it all comes down to tonight. Our Championship 4 are ready to do battle, and in an hour and a half, we'll have a new champion of Goat Locker Racing. I'm Sky Shrek, and I'm joined in the booth tonight by Eddie Smith. Eddie, why don't you tell us about the 4 drivers that we have fighting for a title?
I can't believe we're here. It seems like it's just flown on by, and we are down to the end of it. And we have 4 of the most deserving drivers, in my opinion. And tonight they're going to be racing for a championship. And those 4 drivers start with the man of the season so far. I mean, if you're going to pick a driver that has sort of set the tone, that is Jake Ham. 4 wins on the season, average finish of 4th across all the races. He's got wins at Iowa, Milwaukee, Rockingham, and Dover. But what you don't see there is a win at a 1.5-mile track. So something to think about when you're talking about Jake Ham. Yet to win on a 1.5 miles, and that's where we are tonight. Well, Patrick Drabick, another name that should not be any surprise. He's been really strong in every series that he's raced in, and in this one has been equally as good compared to the rest of the field. 2 wins on the season, Daytona and Richmond. Also, what do you notice there? Not a 1.5 mile track. Very interesting. We're going to see who's going to be the best of the best when it comes to not winning at 1.5 miles. So just an interesting stat that I saw when I was trying to find info. But Patrick has been lights out. He's been good when he needs to be, and these type of environments seem to really fit with him. The last week has not been good for him, so he's going to have to really kind of pull out some stops tonight, make a big splash here in qualifying, and start up front and stay up there if he's going to win this thing. And then you've got Levi McCarty, who is going to be he's right there tied with 2 wins with Patrick Drabick. Vegas, Darlington, so he has a 1.5 mile win. Right there, the average finish of 6th. He's been fast all season. We'll see if he can get it done here tonight. And then one driver that I would say is a dark horse, but as I think definitely is deserving, TJ Peters, who will be your final driver. He has got the 1 win at Lime Rock, but has survived the gauntlet of the playoffs and has gotten down here to the final 4. And those are your 4 drivers. I cannot think of a better 4 to knock it out of the park here tonight for a great race. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sky, tell me about this track.
Yeah, we're here at Texas Motor Speedway. This place is big. It's 1.5 miles long, 20 to 24 degrees of banking in the turns, a little less in 1 and 2, a little more in 3 and 4, with 5 degrees of banking on the back straightaway. You see it a little bit in real life, but that front straightaway, that tri-oval, can be a little bit dangerous here as well. Gotta watch out for that. Opened back in 1996, and one thing I was looking at in regards to those Championship 4 drivers, they have 9 wins this season, but they won 9 of the first 11 races, and then none of them have won in the last 3. We had Jeremy Gardner at Charlotte, and then 2 non-playoff winners in David Duke and Barrett Morton in the round of 8. So all of those guys are running on a bit of a winless streak and are going to have to break that if they want to get the title here tonight.
Wow, that's actually really interesting, and kind of plays into the Championship 4. When you're in that scenario, wins doesn't have to have you don't have to win to move on. You don't have to win to be the champion tonight. But Scott, I've got a feeling that a win is going to be required to take this championship home tonight.
Oh yeah, especially with the quality of drivers that we have out here. I mean, Jake Ham has won so many races this year. Patrick Drabick always up front. There's a lot of great drivers in the field. We could see a 3rd straight underdog winner, but I think it is a little more likely that we'll get one of these 4 championship drivers in victory lane tonight, and they can celebrate both the win and the title. When you're doing burnouts at the end of the race, you don't want to have someone doing burnouts with you if you're the champion. You want to save it all for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you can just boot them out of the way, which is probably what I would do if I was the champion. So, yeah, this is going to be a fun night. Goat Locker has been amazing all season long. This series, and I think we've all kind of talked behind the scenes about how this series is one of the most competitive and one of the most interesting series that we call, just because of the field and how competitive it is week in and week out, and how it's so hard to determine or predict who's going to win the race, who's going to be up front, who's going to not make any mistakes. Everybody is sort of prone to those type of mistakes, and tonight the pressure's on. The pressure is there. It's going to require everything. It's going to require you being good. Have you run practice? Have you put the time in? Do you know the track? Do you have it figured out? Do you have the vehicle figured out? Do you make all the right calls when it's sometimes about luck? You're going to need all that luck. You're going to have things go your way, things that don't go your way, how you respond, how you deal with those. That'll be who determine who will be the champion, I do believe, tonight.
Yeah, it's so competitive, especially in the last few races. I mean, we mentioned it. Barrett Morton stole his first win of the season last week in Martinsville. David Duke's been up there all season. He finally broke through 2 weeks ago at Homestead. It's going to be a really tight race tonight, but before we get into it, we'll send you down trackside for the national anthem, and we'll come back with the starting lineup.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, we're getting all ready for the race tonight, and in just a second here, we'll have your starting lineup as the drivers hit the starting grid and get ready to go. Pole tonight for the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award is going to be Jacob Ellingson in the 27, one of our drivers who isn't in the Championship 4 and is going to look to take one away. Patrick Drabick will start on the outside in the 07, looking for that title. David Duke back up front in the 78. He'll roll off third. Tyler Justice to his outside, fourth in the 33. Timothy Peters' second playoff car rolls off fifth tonight in the 46, and on his outside will be another Final Four driver, Levi McCarty in the 24. Seventh tonight will be Mike Browning in the 4, Jake Ham, our last Championship 4 driver, in 8th in the 87. And rounding out your top 10 is last week's winner, Barrett Morton, 9th in the 9, with Brandon Wallace 10th in the 99.
In 11th, it's going to be old George Jewell, and outside of him is Jeremy Garner in that 12th position. In 13th, Craig Bontrager with Jamie Mullins in that 14th spot. Michael Seymour in 15th, Chuck Phelps in 16th, and Matt Knights rounding out the field here tonight.
It's going to be a very interesting race here tonight as these cars are hitting the grid. They're getting ready to go out on the racetrack. One thing I want to note here is that if we have a green flag race, and this series does tend to go green, especially at these 1.5 miles, we're going to have a really interesting situation when it comes down to fuel. There you go. We have 100% fuel load, but the fuel run is 48 to 52 laps. It's a 100 lap race tonight. So these drivers are going to be stretching it all the way on fuel, trying to make it on these runs. Don't expect to see too many undercuts or overcuts if this goes green, because they just don't have the fuel to do it. We got 4 tire sets available for this race. 3 in the pits, 1 on the car, and if you decide to make a pit stop, the pit road speed will be 45 miles an hour. We got 2 green-white checkered attempts to decide the title if we need it, and as always, it is a fixed setup here as these cars are getting rolling at Texas.
Well, I think this is going to be a fantastic race. We've got some driver cams on tonight. We've got George Jewell, Chuck Phelps, as always, and Patrick Drabick, of course, racing for a championship. And then last week's winner, or 2 weeks ago's winner, David Duke there down on the bottom. Now, one thing we do want to do before we go to the green flag is we got to remind you, we need you to scan this QR code, or you can text GoatLocker, all one word, to 79848. Sign up for that. Let the Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs know how important GoatLocker is to you, so we can let them know how important they are to us. And scan that QR code. You can pause it, pull your phone out, scan the QR code, or text GoatLocker to 79848.
Cars are getting ready to go now. We're rolling down through turn 4. The lights on the pace car are off, so it is going to come off this time. And Jake Ellingson and Patrick Drabick are going to lead them to the green flag. Pace car pulls into the pits. Green flag is out for Jake Ellingson. We're green at Texas. Coming out of turn 4, it's a good jump for Jake Ellingson to get out to the lead at the start of this race. Drabick follows behind first of the Championship 4 in second. Tyler Justice gotten himself up to third around David Duke. Jake Ham started out back in 8th, already trying to dice his way through the field. He's picked up a few spots, gotten up to 5th here in the early going. Moving the other direction is going to be TJ Peters, started in 5th. He has swapped positions with Jake Ham back to 8th.
Yeah, Craig Bontrager with a little bit of slide there was able to gather it back up. But yeah, Jake Ham on the move, making moves early. Track position is too important here at this track, and he is already trying to get up there and keep that 07 in his sights. Right now, Patrick's in a great spot. Just follow your teammate, no pressure. You guys are going to work together. And, you know, if I'm Patrick, I'm trying to trying to say, hey, you know what? I would be really fast out front. You may want to give me that spot. So I wonder if those conversations are happening, Sky, where it's like, okay, I know clean air is the most important here at Texas. I need to be out front. Will Jake Ellingson, give up that spot to allow Patrick Drabick to kind of have that clean air?
Absolutely not. I think he wants to hold that lead. Jake Ellingson, we've seen him in the top 5 pretty much all year. He doesn't have a win yet. He would love to get one here in the last race of the season at Texas to bring it home. David Duke there in that battle back for third. He's pulled it into that third position, and here comes Jake Ham on the move early, trying to get up the inside of Tyler Justice and follow that 78 car through. Already some cars kind of cutting the grass there on that quad oval. You can get away with it in iRacing, not so much in real life. Jake Ham will dice his way up to 4th for now, but Justice will get that run back at a 2 and will stay side by side into 3.
Yeah, a little bit different out of Jake Ham than what we normally see, where he kind of takes his time, works his way up to the front, very Kevin Harvick-like. But tonight, the pressure's on. You know, you can kind of feel it. You could taste it almost. It's palpable. And Jake Ham feeling it, driving a little bit different than he normally would. Sky, I don't know. Do you think that helps to kind of change it up, or do you think you need to keep doing what's got you here? And so far, taking it easy on the start has gotten Jake Ham into the position he is in. But he's feeling like tonight it's time to go. Got to go now.
Yeah, Jake Ham was a pretty clear favorite coming into the playoffs, and he always does seem to bring a long-run car out here, but after the last few races, Jake Ham's kind of gone cold. He hasn't won any of the last 5 races, and that comes off getting 4 wins in the first 9. So he would love to get a win just to get himself back into victory lane. He was the favorite for the title, but I think it's a pretty wide open field right now between him, Drabick, McCarty, and Peters, who are both doing the opposite strategy and saving tires back in 8th and 10th. It's really anybody's game right now, but Drabick and Ham are pushing the aggression early. The 07 is still on the bumper at Jake Ellingson in first.
In regards to Levi and TJ Peters, how much is it fuel saving to make sure they have those extra few laps? If you can go 49 laps, pretty much normal full bore, you're going to need to save at least a lap or 2 just to give yourself the ability to run harder that second run. So curious to see how much of that back here with Levi McCarty running back in the 8th position, and then TJ Peters just 2 spots back in that silver car behind Brandon Wallace. How much of it's fuel saving? How much of it is trying to play that strategy card? You start deeper in the field, you don't qualify as well. It means you got to do something a little bit different because you're not going to be able to run these guys down quickly. So curious to see what their strategy is. And if Brandon Wallace is past you, I think you can probably save him a little bit.
Yeah, Levi McCarty and Jake Ham feels like they kind of swapped strategies here, because usually it's the 24 McCarty who we see flying around on the high line at the start of a run, trying to make some moves. You can see it there on the InVets in-car camera. Quite a bit of a gap to Mike Browning and the 4 up in front of him. You see that battle with Jake Ham, David Duke, little ways up the road. Ham has taken that 3rd spot away. 0.8 of a second back of Drabick and the championship lead right now.
Yeah, Ham completes the pass up 5 spots from where he started, now into that comfortable 3rd position. I think, when we're talking about who's going to win, you got to be in the top 5 if you're going to win these races. And getting up there quickly by lap 10, putting him in 3rd, that's a good spot. He seems to be under fire from Duke again, trying to get back to him. And Barrett Morton, honestly, following Jake Ham's run through the field. Barrett won last week, obviously has some talent, hasn't raced the full season, makes you wonder, what could have been. But a lot of fast drivers right here. Tyler Justice, somebody to kind of mention as well, who has progressively gotten better throughout the entire season, not just in this series, but all the series in Goat Locker. So really fast drivers up here. You see Mike Browning starting to make his way up to the front as well.
Yeah, those are definitely 2 guys who have kind of picked it up towards the end of the year. Barrett Morton certainly has some confidence now. He did win last week, so he knows he can get it done in this series. And once you get that confidence, you get that first win, it really opens the door for you from there to try and go get some more. Jake Ham is gaining on these top 2 cars, Ellingson and Drabick, by a little bit. He's picked up about 1/10 of a second over the last lap or so. Definitely starting to reel in that battle for first, and I think that might put a little bit of urgency into Patrick Drabick. with Ham closing that gap, that 07 is going to be a little more desperate to make that move and get around the 27. It's still early in the race, but he doesn't like the pressure from Jake Ham behind, who's already up from 8th to 3rd.
Well, you kind of talked about it with Barrett. It's a mental thing. I watched a little bit, and here goes Drabic, feeling what you said, feeling like that 87 truck is making his way up to the front, and they swap positions. Obviously, the 27 helps facilitate that pass, and so Patrick Drabic now out front. As the tires start to wear, that clean air becomes even more important, just more exponentially. But I like what you talked about with talking about Barrett Morton and how a win kind of just makes everything better. And I watched NASCAR Full Speed this past week, and the drivers all said, what's the most important thing when it comes to racing? And it's the mental game. And it's about keeping your own mental, your own brain from sabotaging itself. And we've seen drivers, even in this series, who just can't help but to sabotage their own races and not have any kind of outward influence. And so right now, Patrick Drabic just trying to make sure that seeing that 87 truck in his relative doesn't change what his strategy is, doesn't change how he drives, doesn't push him into a mistake. And Jake Ham wants that. Jake Ham is trying to make sure that he doesn't get behind, but also doesn't let the 07 be comfortable. They want him to be as out of shape as he can be and try to push him into making a mistake or maybe even burning his tires up or running out of fuel.
For sure, and those are the only two that they're kind of worrying about right now because Peters has fallen back outside of the top 10. McCarty still back in 8th. He's getting a little bit of time, but he does have 3 seconds to make up. If they're worrying about Levi McCarty, it'll probably be more at the end of the run. In the immediate future, Jake Ham is more of the concern. He's got that gap down to Drabic under half a second, rapidly starting to catch up to that 27 to Jake Bellington. Just looking at the last lap times here, Jake Ham was 0.2 a lap faster than both of those cars running 1 and 2, and David Duke was also a tenth faster. So both the 87 and the 78 are closing that gap, and I don't think it'll be too long before we see Jake Ham up there fighting for the lead.
Yeah, I think, Jake is now going to be playing a little bit of defense. And honestly, Ham, Duke, and Barrett have been playing nice as well, trying to just stay in line. This track is one of those where if you get side by side, get to battling, the outside line can't hold for a while. You just can't really do anything. So all you do is really just slow each other up. So there is a weird, these trucks at a bigger track, just draft becomes more of an effect that matters. But at this track, you just struggle if you get side by side. So you want to make sure that any passes you go to make are ones that you can complete quickly. Patrick Drabic has a teammate up front. That's the benefit of having a teammate that's right up there that you can just get to the inside. They let you go, get right back in line, and save a little bit of that time. So, everybody playing nice right now. We'll see once Ham gets up there just what he's got left. Did he push a little bit too hard? We're about to find out because you're right. He's closing ever so slightly and definitely has the draft now. So Dirty Air really going to be playing a factor for all these drivers now that they're sort of in a pack.
That's how it is at Texas. Dirty Air always comes into the equation here. And you mentioned it. You very rarely see cars side by side for more than about a lap here. It tends to get sorted out really quickly at this racetrack because it's so hard to hold side by side for more than about a lap or so. That inside line is certainly the dominant lane right now, and it tends to be the dominant lane here because of how easy it is to get loose when you go up the racetrack, both in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Jake Ham is going to be pushed high in 1 and 2, and that'll cost him a bunch of time as David Duke tries to take a look to the inside. He just doesn't have the run, though, coming out of the corner, and the 87 gets the spot back. But over the last lap and a half, he has lost about 0.3 of a second. That'll really hurt him in his chase down to Drabic up front.
Yeah, I can't tell if he's trying something different or just missing the bottom in 1 and 2. But the last couple laps, he's been about 2 lanes up, just too high. And it's really killed his runs. Last lap, that right there, he's a little bit quicker. But the previous lap, he was 0.3 slower. So, I don't know if Ham is sort of just searching, trying to find a little bit now that he's caught up, or did he push a little bit too hard? I mean, in iRacing, and man, look at Duke all over the back bumper. And Duke playing nice at the moment, but, iRacing's all about heat. Tire wear doesn't matter. I know a lot of people think it does, but it's all about how much heat you put in those tires. And Ham's going to grab the apron just a little bit, and that's going to open the door, and that's not what he wants to see. Is Duke now going to go to the inside? How much does J-Cam fight here?
Well, he's not going to fight that much for right now. He'll pull it in behind the 78, but I don't think it'll be long before he tries to challenge again if he's able to get that car back up there. We mentioned a win opening everything up for Barrett Morton, but you got to remember David Duke won the week before that. He's feeling it right now as well. He's coming off a win, good finish last week. He's had a lot of great runs to end the year. He came on a little too late to make the playoffs, but in the playoffs, he has been one of the best drivers out here, and I think if he was in the playoffs, he likely would be in this championship four right now. So he's got a lot of speed. Just because he's not one of those Final Four drivers does not mean that he isn't a threat to win tonight.
Yeah, it's always a interesting decision how you race. You know, you want to give the playoff guys a little bit extra space, but the playoff guys know that, and they honestly will sometimes take a little bit more than they deserve, and they will kind of push the limits on, I'm going to cut this guy's nose off because I'm a playoff driver, and I tell you what, Duke's not one of the guys you want to do that to, and so he's going to race all the way to the end, and I expect to see Barrett Morton to do the same. We love to see anybody that, even if you're not in the playoffs, you come out here and race, try to get these wins. Wins are hard to come by. That makes them more desirable, makes them more valuable. So anytime you can get them, even if it's a championship race, you want to go get them.
Yeah, before those last two races, the only other driver who'd gotten a win this season was Jeremy Gardner. He had won a couple. He was looking like a favorite, but he had to miss one of the races in the round of 8. So he's back in 9th right now, and he's not in the championship for tonight. Even he's a threat to win if this tire strategy works and he's able to pull his way back up the field. That's another car that we tend to see do good on long runs, so you never really know. Back up front, Ellingson has held on to Drabic pretty well. That gap has not gone too far out. Ellingson has hung about 0.2 of a second back now for the last, I'd say, 5 or 10 laps. And as Duke and Ham continue to drift back in 3rd and 4th, and Barrett Morton as well has dropped 2 seconds off back in 5th, Ellingson is holding pretty steady. He's got a lot of speed in that truck as we cross the 1/4 mark in this race.
Yeah, this is the advantage of qualifying up front. They are cashing in on what they've earned, which is starting up on the front row, getting away, working together as teammates. And now Patrick Drabic leading the championship by about 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds, or second and a half, excuse me. So starting out front, huge deal. And so J-Cam trying to make up for his poor qualifying effort. Now it's starting to show why that's not always great. Starting up front, huge deal, and he's starting to fall back. But back here, good gosh, we've got I think the worn out tires and the guys who've been saving now making their way together. This is sort of the cold front, the hot front. I know you're from Oklahoma, so you know all about the fronts and tornadoes. Woo. This is the tornado right here. As you see Levi McCarty and TJ Peters now running to the back bumper, these guys that are starting to fall off a little bit, and this is making a huge cluster back here.
Yeah, we haven't had too many tornadoes around this area yet this year. This might be the closest thing we'll get for now. Side by side there with McCarty, and that is Barrett Morton in the 9 car. McCarty, that next car in the playoffs, and Barrett Morton is going to try to drop down in between the 2 playoff cars running back here. That 9 is really, really loose exiting the corner there, and that'll give the run to TJ Peters on the inside, who will pretty quickly get clear, moving down into 3 and 4. The tires are starting to come alive for those two, but it might be too little too late. I don't think it's going to be too long before McCarty and Peters pass Jake Ham, but Patrick Drabic has done an amazing job to hold that lead, even with using up the rubber, because he's still got 3.5 seconds on these next 2 playoff cars.
Yeah, we've fallen off about a second and a tenth or two in these 30 laps. So a decent amount of fall off, but you can definitely see the guys who are running up in the top 5 now falling almost to 10th place in Tyler Justice. So tire wear definitely matters. When you're starting to see Levi and TJ make their way to the front, almost working together. They really weren't battling each other too much, but they are a little bit faster than the leader every other lap or so. So they definitely have the speed. Maybe not as much as they were hoping, but they're definitely faster than J-Cam. Here comes TJ Peters down to the inside, fighting to try to take this is probably the worst thing that could happen for both of them.
Yeah, this is definitely not going to help their quest to get up to Drabic at all, and if this race goes green, it's going to be even more trouble for them because they need to get up quickly. TJ Peters will take the spot away for right now. McCarty's going to try a little bit of a switchback there on the bumper. A little bit loose, and he won't be able to do it off the corner. Lap times have fallen off about a second from the start of this race, but you can really tell the difference in strategy here between some of these cars. Patrick Drabic's fastest lap was a 29.8. He was really going for it at the start of the run. In comparison, TJ Peters' fastest lap is a 30.2. Barrett Morton is in the pits. Is he trying to two-stop this? That's all I can really think of why he would be pitting on lap 34.
Yeah, interesting. You know, the fall off is not enough for a two-stop to work. We don't know 100% on fuel. I mean, we don't know exactly if they can make it to 50. Our assumption is they can. Our info before the race was around 48 to 52 laps, just depending on how hard you're running. So I can't tell if he's just feeling like he's dropping back too much and going to try to two-stop it. Two-stop really only works at maybe a shorter track that you're 2 to 3 seconds quicker over the long run. So I don't think this will play out in his favor. However, he gets a caution at the right time, it could make a big difference. I don't see anybody else coming down pit road.
Yeah, he was really struggling after burning the tires up in the first part of that run. And if you remember last week to Martinsville, part of how he got that win was a pretty good pit strategy call. I think he pit about 15 laps earlier than anyone else in the field and just made it last the whole way to the end to get that win. So, I mean, he knows he can pull off some strategy and make it work. He might be trying to do something similar here. David Duke, unlike Jake Ham, has not fallen away from this battle. He is staying up here in third. The gap was over a second, but he's actually closing back in. Fastest car of the top three last time around. He is starting to move towards Jake Ellingson.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. We'll go on board the InVets in-car camera and just see what they're dealing with. It looks like he's driving it pretty deep into the corner, picking up the throttle like you would think. You can see the car really bogs down in turn 1 and 2, but that is the most important corner on this track because you're almost full throttle. Just a slight lift into 3, then you're right back on the gas. But you can see the truck is floating. I mean, he is sort of wrecking the whole time, and actually a little bit of frustration on board with him. You can't see it, but I can. A frustration with how the dirty air may be affecting him. So you see he's driving really deep into the corner, just getting on the throttle as soon as you can without the truck going too far out. And then in 3 and 4, you're just trying to carry all of that speed off of turn 4. So pretty much the exit of 2 is the most important thing. You see he's bobbling, trying to keep keep that thing straight. It actually gets real loose there. So handling, affecting everybody, even the ones who've been saving a little bit better than most.
Speaking of someone who hasn't saved that well, Jake Ham is now getting passed by TJ Peters here for 5th. Peters is going to take over that position of being the second highest car in the championship 4 from Jake Ham in that 87. Ham was up front early, burned up the tires, and now you've got TJ Peters who's going to fight right back on the inside. They've stayed side by side for a while, but the 46 is going to finally get clear here out of 4. He's got the fresher tires, moving his way up in the 5th. He's not as fast as Jeremy Gardner in 4th in that 42. That 42 seems to be the fastest car on track right now, but of the championship drivers, he is making pretty good time.
Jake Ham not going to let that slide. He's like, I'm not giving up right now. I think Peters will eventually get him. And then 3 and 4, he definitely has the speed. We'll see if Ham tries to do a little bit of crossover. But it looks like TJ is ready to go. And TJ has a lot to prove, I think, tonight. He's been a solid driver all year, but has been, really up and down. An average finish of 9th on the season. And his one win came at a road course. So I feel like tonight is a great opportunity for TJ to sort of prove that he belongs in this Final Four. I think he was sort of a dark horse going into the playoffs, and now finds himself second in the championship standings. But he's going to have to dig down deep, find a little bit extra. He is currently 3.6 seconds back from Patrick, who is in full control of this championship and the race at the moment.
And you got to remember how TJ Peters even made it into this Final Four in the first place. There was a wreck coming out of turn 4 on the last lap at Martinsville. It shook everybody up, and that is how Drabick and Peters ended up in the field over Craig Bontrager, who's running back there in 13th right now. It was a wild ending to the race. Peters got in by 1 point, and now he's going to try to take that 1 point difference and win the title with it. He is still 3.5 seconds back, but he does have good speed. He was the fastest car on track that time around, the only one other than Barrett Morton, under 31 seconds, starting to get it hooked up. And if he can get clear of Hammond, just pull away in clean air, he might be able to have something for these leaders. The car who really might have something for these leaders, though, is not a championship driver. It's Jeremy Gardner in the 42. That gap has gone from 3.5 seconds, cut in half, down to 1.8. We're approaching the end of the fuel window and the end of this run, but if Jeremy Gardner maybe turns it on a little earlier next run, he might have something for Patrick Drabick.
Yep, slowly moving his way up through there. The last time by, he was the fastest truck. And, I mean, no doubt in my mind that Jeremy Gardner can absolutely win this race. He's up 8 positions from where he started. So, you know, we were talking about Jake Ham, who had really shot up through there. Now he's back to 6th. Kind of used up his tires there early, but Gardner taking care of him, was sort of leading that pack of TJ Peters, Levi McCarty, but it's showing that he has got the skill to save tires over the long run, and he can absolutely do that. He is the Cruising Classics next-gen champion on Wednesday night. Already got a championship in his belt. So he is good to go, and it'd be nice to add another race win on this one. And I'll tell you what, something we need to talk about, and that's, of course, Lincoln Tech. And Lincoln Tech, if you don't know, has sponsored this entire spring series. So they don't sponsor a particular series, they sponsor all of them. And their mission is to provide superior education and training to their students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses. They are the title sponsor for the spring series, and I tell you what, they are a huge, huge part of Goat Locker.
They really do a lot. Their driver in second right now, trying to close up to Patrick Drabick in that 07. Led 13 laps at the start of this race, but for the last 34, it has been all that 07 car right now. We are approaching the fuel window. We're expecting to see pit stops here in the next 5 laps, and that'll be a big decider in this race. You've got to hit pit road well. You can't mess it up, because with how green this race is gone, if you lose about a second here, you might never get it back.
Yeah, for sure. And right now, I just feel like his whole job tonight is just to play defense for the 07. Make it, I mean, if Duke gets up there, Garner gets up there, I can promise you they're going to have the hardest time possible to get around. We do have somebody coming down pit road, one of your championship 4, and that is going to be Levi McCarty, comes down on lap 48. So, interesting. Looks like you can go maybe about 52 laps because he's coming down early trying to get that undercut. Oh, and he's going to slide through his box.
I said if you waste a second on pit road, you might not get it back. There's a second wasted for Levi McCarty right there. He is going to need to get after it on this next run on the undercut, try to jump himself up to the field. Here comes the next championship 4 car into the pits. Jake Ham was running up around in 6th. He'll make the turn down to get fresh tires on that car. No one else has made the move down pit road yet, but I don't think it'll be too long before we see a few more cars come in. Drabick will go past the pit lane, so will Ellingson. And it looks like about everybody else in the top 6 or 7 will stay out for now. Yeah, no, Jamie Mullen stays out. Justice stays out. Wallace is going to stay out. Everybody else pushing it a little bit further.
Well, I can tell you this, for those 2 playoff drivers, Ham and McCarty, they were, you know, obviously not keeping up with the rest of the pack. So if you're going the wrong way, you got to do something different. And it's a Hail Mary. Undercutting this time, as it looks like Patrick Drabick, oh my goodness, is coming in really hot. Did he make it down to pit road speed? Oh, and the 78 of David Duke goes around.
I can tell you David Duke did not make it down to pit road speed, so that'll be a black flag for him, but it looks like the 07 did. No black flag displayed for that 07 car, although it was extremely close coming in to that pit lane.
Let's go on board with Duke and just watch how difficult it is to get down on this pit road. And you can see he's trying to avoid, locks up, got a little bit too much rear brake, and goes right around. He had a big old smile on his face, so I guess he thought it was pretty funny. Having a good time. We love that. But he did get a speeding penalty. But it's so easy to do here at this track because of the way the pit road entry is. It just kind of cuts off, and you got to get to 45 miles an hour quick.
Yeah, he's not the only one. We're showing Gardner right there. He did the exact same thing coming into the pits. Didn't get a speeding penalty, but he did loop it, trying to get it slowed down. There he is recovering from the spin, and there you go. Gardner doesn't hit anything, does a loop, has to turn it around right in front of Tyler Justice, trying to make his way into the pits there.
Wow. Well, you love to see that. I love it when drivers are struggling. That just makes it so much better. And Barrett Morton going to take the lead back over. He's been off of pit road for about 18 laps. He came down on about lap 34. He's got a 7.8 second lead at the moment. Now, that will mean he will have to come back down pit road probably right around that lap 65 mark. And unfortunately, it's just not going to work. But the good news is if he gets a caution right now, it'll work perfectly. In the next 10 laps, 15 laps, if he can get a caution, it will play perfectly in his hands. So a strategy call here for Barrett Morton, trying to go for the Hail Mary. And, right now, a lot of Hail Marys being thrown, but Patrick Dravick still leads the way by a pretty substantial margin.
Yeah, that gap has opened up. It was about half a second to Jake Ellingson when he came onto pit road. It is now up to 2 seconds after a little bit of trouble for Jacob Ellingson as he tried to get onto pit road. Slower entry compared to that 07 car. McCarty jumped it up to third on this strategy. He is the next playoff car in the field. He has gotten around Jake Ham and TJ Peters, but he did lose about a second there when he missed his pit stall. He is really pushing it early in this run. Dravick 3/10 slower than McCarty as Dravick takes it a little bit easier knowing he has that gap, while McCarty is giving it everything he can, trying to close the gap to that 07 car.
Yeah, it's too late. Right now, you see these three drivers sort of nose to tail, and Jake Ham and McCarty just by the means of an undercut, but they couldn't undercut that gap that Patrick Dravick already had. So right now, the race is in Dravick's hands. He can take it easy. He can save his tires. We know tire wear means something. So the 07 doesn't have to push. He doesn't have to put the work in. Everybody else, though, is fighting for their life, and they're going to push and push and push, and their tires are eventually going to give up. So I know I'm supposed to build drama here, Scott, but I'm just telling it like it is. Patrick Dravick in full control of this championship and likely this race once he gets past Barrett Morton on those older tires. And for the rest of these guys, they're going to need a caution if they're going to get back up to him. We got a nice battle here back for 9th, 10th, and 11th. Jamie Mullins, Craig Bontrager, Mike Browning. And these are some deep run playoff drivers who just couldn't get across the line for the Final Four. But these guys are pretty quick.
Yeah, Jamie Mullins was a couple spots out, and then he got turned coming out of 4 on the last lap at Martinsville, and that dropped him all the way back down to 7th in the championship hunt. He will finish there, but he made a really good run at it. So did Bontrager, who I think was 5th, the first car not to be taken to this round of the playoffs. Mike Browning back there as well made it into the first round of the playoffs before dropping out. He had a great start to the season, but has kind of done the inverse of some of these guys like David Duke and Barrett Morton, and has gotten worse as it goes on. Here's Bontrager making the move up the inside of Jamie Mullins. That'll be for 9th. Long way up the road, though, to Tyler Justice in the 33, who's the next car Bontrager would try to catch.
Yeah, Bontrager with a power move there to get around Jamie Mullins, just kind of scooted on by. Made it look really easy. But, yeah, these guys were fast all year. Bontrager was a Final Four driver last season. It just you can't help but to pull for him. He's such a nice guy. He's quiet, but he's got a lot of fans, which means he's popular. And, it's for a good reason. I think he races clean. He races hard. We've seen him race really hard with folks, but you don't see too many folks get into scuffles with him, and I don't think he'd argue if he did. So one of those drivers that you like to pull for is that 49 of Craig Bontrager, and almost made it in. Just couldn't quite do it this season. But I look for him to be a competitor each and every season deep into the playoffs.
Got a battle for second up there. Here comes Levi McCarty on the outside of Jake Ellingson. McCarty has been going for it. Ellingson saving a lot more. He's being more conservative with it. That 24, one of your championship 4 cars, is desperate to gain any ground he can to try to put a dent in Patrick Dravik's lead of this race, and the 24 will get clear right now. Real quick, want to tell you about another one of our partners here at Goat Locker Racing. That would be SAVE22. SAVE22 is a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. Their unwavering mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate, or SAVE. And we thank them for everything that they do here with Goat Locker Racing. This is their series, the SAVE22 Truck Series, and they're getting a pretty good race here tonight. Dravik up to the bumper of Barrett Morton, but he's got 2 lap cars of Matt Knights and George Jewell in the way before he can do it.
This is one of those moments, if you're the 07, that you have to realize that I have the advantage here. This is not the scuffle that I need to get into. And as soon as I say that, he's going to make it 3 wide here for the lead between him and Matt Knights. Matt Knights gets a little bit of the wall. Has to, I mean, I'll tell you what, Code Brown moment there for Patrick Dravik, I'm sure. But he's able to get the lead away from Morton and get that lead back, and going to get around, looks like Matt Knights without much ease. And George Jewell going to drive away. But a close moment there for the 07 machine. But, I mean, in this race kind of going like this season has been all season long, Scott, 63 laps, no caution. And honestly, everybody is just driving so well that I don't see there being a caution. The strategy calls, you know, having to be perfect. You can't spin out in pit road. You have to you have to qualify well. All those things we talked about at the beginning of the race are playing out here for the 07 of Patrick Dravik. He's done everything right so far, and he's being rewarded for it. That's what I like. That's why I love this series.
Barrett Morton's probably not far from a pit stop, and that'll promote Jake Ellingson back up to P2. We saw McCarty get around him a couple laps ago. Ellingson has remade that pass, gotten himself back up to 3rd on the track, 2nd once either Morton pits or they're able to pass him under green here. Pretty big gap from these 2 cars back to 5th place Jake Ham, who's running 5 spots back behind Dravik. He is 3rd in the championship right now, and TJ Peters, who you see right behind him there in 4th in that 46. He would be the last car of the championship for, but he is gaining on Jake Ham, and he'll try to pull a move down the back straightaway to get around that 87 car. Pretty easily done right there for TJ Peters to pull it up into the top 5.
Yeah, only 2 lap fresher tires for that for TJ Peters, but you know, I wonder. I don't know if Ham is saving a little bit of fuel or something or what, because TJ just kind of drove around him. But look at this line that they're running. They're running almost a 3rd lane, right? Almost in the kind of brighter asphalt there. Interesting line to see them run. I'm not sure it's helping at all, but they're trying just about anything. Maybe some desperation starting to play out. Here comes Barrett Morton down for his 2nd stop.
Still running that 2-stop strategy, and we'll see if he can make any time with it. I think he will definitely get Matt Knight's George Jewell. Wonder if he'll be able to get anything else. David Duke, see him down there at the bottom of the ticker. He dropped out of the race after that pit road spin, so his night was over on lap 51. He'll be our first and so far only DNF of the night, as we already crossed the 2/3 mark of this race. It's been clean green and the laps have been flying by. Fastest car on track right now seems to be a kind of a toss-up between Jeremy Gardner in that 42, who had a bad pit stop, spun it entering the pits, and has, as a result, fallen back to 6th. And Craig Bontrager, who's running some pretty good laps back there in 8th, pulling ahead of Jamie Mullins.
These 2 drivers have been battling all night. That's Chuck Feltz and Brandon Wallace. I love to show Chuck Feltz. We doing an 87 series coming up in June, and you know what? We were doing Chat GPT photos, and Chuck Feltz, I put him in there, and I said, make me look like a 1980s race car driver in a fire suit, and it spit out a normal looking photo of him with a nice little 80s mustache and a fire suit. And I said, you know what? Something's not right. And I said, ChatGPT, take the sleeves off, baby. And so it spit me one out, a driver's suit without sleeves, and it's perfect. It's going to be the perfect picture for Chuck Phelps. You can see him right there. Sun's out, guns out, even though the sun's not out. I don't know why I said that. I wish I wouldn't have. But Chuck, always glad to see him in the race. He's currently running in 11th, but he has gained 5 spots since the start of the race. So Chuck doing something right.
Yeah, I don't think NASCAR typically allows sleeveless fire suits, but for him, I'm sure they would make an exception in that 75 car right there. He is still holding that lead over Brandon Wallace. Got around him during the pit cycle to pull that car up into 11th right now, stretching out his hand a little bit because he's been in some intense racing over the last few laps, watching the mirrors, trying to stay ahead of that 99 car. Little bit of a battle developing up there for 8th. Jamie Mullins, running some really fast laps right now, has pulled it up to the back of Craig Bontrager. These are actually 2 of the fastest cars in the field. They're running for 8th and 9th, but this is a really good battle. Bontrager might have worn the tires out a little earlier, though, and now Jamie Mullins in that SAVE22 truck is going to pull it down to the bottom. Try to get around that 49 car. He's not clear out of 4, and we'll go side by side for 8th back to the start-finish line.
Yeah, Bontrager scooted on by a few laps ago, and now we're seeing maybe the difference in how hard they were running. Bontrager way up there. I don't know if that's going to work. He slides just a little bit, coming off the corner way up by the wall, makes a little bit of contact. And they're still side by side. I can't believe it. So he made that work somehow. I'm surprised. I think maybe Mullins is. This bump may get him in the top of 3 and 4.
Oh, yeah, and now he's in the wall. Never mind. Barely avoided it in 1 and 2. Did not avoid it in 3 and 4. I was shocked he kept that thing out of the fence too hard with how he was running it in 1 and 2. Back up front, Jake Ham is completely falling off the pace. He was one of those championship drivers, and he has lost it. He's 10 seconds back of everybody else, running the slowest laps up here in the top 7, with the exception of Levi McCarty, who's dropping off as well after that early run. Jeremy Gardner, he'd be a threat to win this race if he didn't loop it coming into pit road, because he is very, very fast right now in that 42 car. TJ Peters isn't far back from catching Levi McCarty. That gap down to about half a second between the two of them, but Peters saved his tires in the first part of the run. McCarty smoked him up, and Peters is running about 0.4 of a second faster here on some of these laps, so it will not be long before that gap is erased.
Well, and they're all fighting for scraps. It looks like Levi got a little bit loose there because Patrick Dravick's still 5.5 seconds out ahead of these drivers right here. And still with about 25 laps to go, he is in full control of this race as we watch these guys battle. But, man, I don't know. And Levi McCarty gets real loose there on the exit as the Peters gets right to his back bumper, loosened him up just right. Now TJ Peters going to take over the 3rd spot. But without a caution, I just can't see them making any headway. Dravick just has all the advantages at the moment. A caution's going to be the only way that this equalizes at all. And even then, I don't know, because everybody hasn't shown the speed that Dravick has. These two right here kind of took it easy on the start of the race, but just hasn't shown that they could even maybe compete with the 07. We talked about at the beginning of the race, not that many 1.5 wins for these drivers. We needed to see who could step up and take control of it. Right now, it's been a Patrick Dravick show here tonight. He is crushing the field.
Yeah, barring a caution here late, I don't think McCarty or Ham are even going to bring it home with a podium here. I think they're both completely out of contention for that. McCarty burned up those tires, and Ham just has absolutely nothing going on in that car right now. He's been way, way, way off the pace recently, and it's kind of shocking for Jake Ham, because he hit a wall there, not an actual wall on the racetrack, but kind of a proverbial wall in the lap times. He was running just fine, 34, about 3 laps in a row, and then all of a sudden goes back to a 30.6, a 30.8, a 31.2, and he hasn't been out of the 31 since. It just fell off so quick for that 87 car from what he was doing into his speed now.
Yeah, it's all qualifying. That's starting up front at Texas and these type of tracks is huge. I know I sound like a broken record, but it is the tale of how this race has gone. These guys started deeper in the field, and even though they're able to push hard to get up through and make some passes. When you don't have any cautions and you go green, it just completely crushes your ability to make any ground up. So these guys, for the most part, outside of Jeremy Garner, everybody's kind of, right there where they started, maybe a position or two up from where they were. But it's been qualifying has been the biggest thing about tonight is, did you start up front or didn't you? TJ Peters has done a great job, but he started fifth, so hats off to Dravic for starting up front. That's obviously the big key tonight, but a caution to change everything.
And speaking of Dravic, who has been dominating this race, we want to tell you a little bit about his sponsor that he's got on the hood there. That would be Jam Printing and Promotions. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They've been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning. They're local and veteran certified, and when they do well, they do good in the community. And their driver's doing really good on the track right now, too, because he's still got a 2.6 second lead over Jake Ellingson back there in second. By the way, if you've ever seen any Goat Locker Racing merch on any of these drivers on our in-cars at any point this season, that's all Jam Printing and Promotions right there. So they make some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, Jam Printing Promotions shirt right there for Patrick Dravic, repping what he needs. He's got the Goat Locker hat on. He's got the Glove Station gloves. He's got the whole get up, and nobody shows his sponsors like Patrick Dravic. And right now he is. I mean, honestly, this week has not been great for Pat. He has struggled in the couple races, the couple championship runs that he's had. It's been really, really tough for him. So tonight has been a really nice change of pace. I think we didn't have goat talk, so you didn't have to talk to me and listen to me ramble like you are right now. And I think that's probably helped him a lot. He's been able to clear his brain, come out here, qualify up front, and he's just smoking them at the moment. But the worst thing here, Sky, is he's done everything right. He started up front. He's had great pit stops. He hasn't made any issues. He's got the clean air. He's made good use of it. He's saved tires, saved fuel. He's done everything right. But now he's got 15 laps of just heart-pounding nervousness, sick in your stomach, butterflies kind of filling up your chest of just, please, guys, don't wreck. No caution. I've done everything right here. The racing gods, please give me a break, and let's get to this thing green flag. And that's all he's thinking about right now. He can't rest. He can't smile. He can't be happy until he sees that white flag.
Yeah, he pretty clearly crossed out Eddie time on his calendar and just replaced it with practice time, the way that he's dominating right now. Laps are going by so quick. You said it, we've only got 15 laps left. Fully green so far this race. These drivers have done a great job managing some pretty worn tires and some pretty loose conditions out here at points tonight to keep it green. Jake Ellingson sits about 2.2 back of Dravic. He is a little quicker than that 07 car, but it might be too little too late for the driver of the 27. A bad run into pit road on that pit stop put him about a second back, and he just has not been able to recover. Closest battle on track is right here. This is the lap car of Barrett Morton. He's coming through trying to get a lap back. He is also with another lap car of George Jewell, who is moving in the opposite direction, getting lapped. And in the middle of him is Jake Ellingson, your second place runner, who seems to be pretty equal in pace right now to Barrett Morton, which I would say is extremely concerning for Barrett Morton and that two-stop strategy. He's going to need a little more pace than that if he wants to get past Seymour in 13th.
Yeah, I mean, last week's winner is in danger of not even unlapping himself by the end of this thing. So, obviously a two-strategy call, trying something different. Started to fall back on that first run. Maybe didn't think he could go all the way to 50. Not quite sure, but, yeah, this strategy did not seem to work out. Still drivers battling, though, for bragging rights. I mean, if you can't win the championship, you can at least be second in the championship. And right now, you got Jeremy Garner running in that fourth position, but then you got Levi McCarty and Jay Cam fighting for that third and fourth position in the championship and fifth and sixth on the track. So, yeah, a great season for these guys, but I know this is not how they wanted it to go out.
No, McCarty, I feel like, has been kind of a very quietly good driver this year. We've seen him in victory lane a couple times, but he hasn't been in many big moves, hasn't been in many accidents. He's just very quietly and very solidly rattled off podium after podium, top 5 after top 5, and that's what's got him to this point. Unfortunately for him, with 11 to go, he is 14 seconds back looking at the title. His tires are gone. He's driving on a cheese grater right now, and Jake Ham is right on the bumper of that 24 car. He'll drop to the inside here. This is going to be the move for third in the championship when it's all said and done, and Jake Ham will get by pretty easily. Next car back from McCarty will be Tyler Justice. Jamie Mullins back there as well. Oh, Jake Ham is into the fence. He's going to hold the position somehow.
I mean, not a big deal for Ham, but if Drabic heard anything on the radio, that heart's stopping, because Ham able to keep that position, made a little bit of contact with the wall. Really great save for the 87. Gonna hang on to it. Going through the grass, making the landscaping group not too happy. Up here for third, we've got a battle for a podium. I know Peters would love to grab that podium position, but he is being hunted by the 42 of Jeremy Gardner, who has run him down over the last few laps.
Hey, he's lucky he did that in iRacing and not in real life, because with how much rain they had before the actual race here at Texas, his spoiler probably would have been in the grandstands after that one with how much he went through the grass. Peters is getting caught by Gardner. This is going to be for the battle of the podium here, but Gardner is not in the championship for this season. Winner of last season, he is the defending champion, but after having to miss a race in the round of 8, he will not get to defend that crown here tonight. Battle's also tightening up back there for 6. McCarty is under rapid threat there from Tyler Justice, who's got himself back up the field, and he's got Jamie Mullins running about another 0.3 of a second there behind him. Those cars are a little faster than McCarty, but they might need to pick up the pace if they are going to get that 24 car before the end of the race. 7 to go at the line next time for Drabic. Closest battle still between Peters and Gardner.
Yeah, he's got Borton again. Barrett Morton running up behind him again. I'm from the South, Sky. We shorten things like y'all. So I'm going to affectionately call Barrett Morton Borton for the rest of the race. I'm going to really lean into it as he's catching up to try to unlap himself. But Drabic, just a few laps to go for the end of this thing for third. The battle is starting to heat up as Gardner has now gotten to the back bumper. Going to try to make a move for this third position.
You're kind of like Dale Jr. in a way. He did that once where he called Chris Buescher Christopher Buescher and then just went with it for about 2 months. This is still going on for third here. Gardner is certainly the faster car right now. He's done much better on the long run and saving those tires. He's been a long run caller all year. Again, he would be fighting for the lead right now, but he had a spin entering pit road that cost him at least 5 seconds, probably more than that, trying to turn the car around, and that was all it took to put him out of contention here tonight. He is still fighting for that last spot on the podium. He wants the interview up here in the booth at the end of it, but 5 to go. It's all looking good for Patrick Drabic, clear by 1.8 at the front of the field.
Yeah, Garner, man, it's so disappointing. I feel like he is definitely a championship favorite in every series that he runs in, and then having to miss. And then last week, he honestly dominated at Martinsville and stayed out maybe a little bit too long. Track position played a huge part in the way that race ended. Tires don't really wear at Martinsville. And I think if he wins that race, Garner's definitely in the conversation as Peters gets a little bit of the wall there. But bummer to see that kind of play out for him. But like I said, he's able to get the Wednesday night. We like to share championships around here. We don't want somebody to dominate this thing. Man, Patrick, 4 laps to go and to cap this season off as, a great season, I think. Probably one of the better ones. I mean, the last 2 seasons have been unbelievably competitive. Winning this series, being called the champion of the SAVE22 Truck Series is a massive accomplishment, and he is just 3 laps away from accomplishing that.
Yeah, he is under threat from Barrett Morton, but that car is a lap down, so no real worry there. I think that 9 will probably just hang out, let Patrick Travick do his thing and win the title. Patrick Travick was the only car in the championship 4 who actually won a race at any point in these playoffs, which is kind of crazy. Jeremy Gardner took it home at Charlotte, and then obviously the underdog wins were the story of the round of 8. David Duke coming through to win at Homestead, Barrett Morton coming through to win at Martinsville. It's all Patrick Travick right now, though.
Going down the back straightaway, smile starting to show on his face, as all he needs to see is that white flag. That white flag is like you're just a comfortable blanket in a race like tonight. You can see he knows it. He crosses the line. He hasn't crossed the checkered flag just yet, but the white flag in the air, Sky. One more to go.
Yeah, he's getting excited. He knows that even if there's a big crash now, it won't be a caution. All he's got to do is make it through the next couple quarters. He's already getting ready. I'm not sure how he can drive when his screen is shaking that much from all the fist pumping, but he'll get it into 3 and 4 anyway. And you're going to see it on his face here as he gets out of 4. Patrick Travick comes around, and he wins the SAVE22 Truck Series.
How about that? Golly. You can see the emotion. You can see what it means to these guys. I mean, just banging. I mean, very expensive equipment and just banging the heck out of it. It's just like Levi McCarty had some sort of issue there at the end, may have spun out. But here's your champion, Patrick Travick, getting a little tap here from Barrett Morton, or Borton, as I should call him now. And man, incredible season. 2 wins, now 3, and going to be your champion. Just incredible season, incredible drive tonight, just domination. Once he got around Jacob Ellingson, never looked back.
And hey, if you're wondering how close it was on fuel, Levi McCarty ran out of gas taking the white flag. He is limping all the way back. He's got Jacob Ellingson doing a burnout up there for the lead with Patrick Travick all over the donuts. He's got to keep it out of the back of that 27 car. You know, you got to bring it home clean after the title.
No, you got to pass. You got to pass Tex. You got to back it into something. And that's why I love these GLR guys. These guys know how to race as a team. They know how to race as a group, and they celebrate as one as well. Anytime somebody wins, they're always there supporting their teammates. And look, there's the 42 of Jeremy Garner celebrating with the 07. He is pumped up. And so am I. What a season. Sky, I've been in the background, haven't been able to call the race. What a thrill it is to call the final race of the season and to call one where it's just dominated by one driver. And just an unbelievable season, just all the way around. Can't say enough for SAVE22 and all these drivers who put this, they have been making the series what it is. Just incredible. So, well, I'll tell you what, let's take a commercial break, and then we'll come back. We'll talk to the champ and the other 2 drivers right after this.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
We're back here at Texas, and we've got one last look at the results for you here from tonight's race. Your race winner and your championship winner, Patrick Drabick, in the 07 there in first. Jake Ellingson, a lot of speed, brings it home second. Jeremy Gardner up from 12th to 3rd. Could have been higher if it wasn't for a pit road incident. Timothy Peters, 4th. Jake Ham finishes 5th tonight. And Jamie Mullins there in 6th. Tyler Justice will bring it home 7th. Craig Bontrager 8th. Chuck Feltz 9th. And Mike Browning in 10th.
In 11th, going to be Brandon Wallace and Levi McCarty running out of fuel, but ran up in the top 5 most of the night. Barrett Borton going to come home in 13th. 14th, Michael Seymour, George Julin 15th. Matt Knights 16th, and rounded out the field after that spin in pit road, David Duke in that 17th position.
Well, let's waste no time. Patrick Drabick, you saw how excited he was. Let's get him up here in the booth now. Hey, Patrick, how you doing?
I'm fucking awesome. That's how I'm doing.
I was gonna say, how's it feel to win the title? We saw you having a great time there on that last lap.
Man, I mean, it's just nerve-wracking as hell, especially when you go out there and, you lead that many laps and it starts to wind itself down and you just want the white flag to come out, man. And so when that white flag came out, that was the best feeling in the world. There was nothing stopping me from grabbing this win and this championship here tonight.
Yeah, it was a really great race. It went green from start to finish. How'd you manage the tires here and the fuel here to keep it up there towards the end?
Well, one way is losing 2 races this week at this track. So I learned a lot of lessons over the past couple of days of how to just drive the track a little bit better, how to get into one a little bit better, and just really keep the right front underneath this truck. That way it was there in the long run, and it proved to be, because in the long run, I just started to step away from everybody.
I want to know, you think you're going to be able to defend this championship next season?
Who gives a shit about next season? This is about tonight and getting this damn truck championship tonight. So I don't give a shit about next season. We're going to party tonight.
There you go. Hey, that's all you need. You got the one title, and that'll carry you all through the summer series. I want to know, when you look back, was this your favorite race this season? If not, what was?
Oh, man. I mean, I guess it's got to be my favorite race. I mean, to come out here and put on this performance like I did tonight, after getting my ass handed to me over the past couple of days, felt incredible. So yeah, to get another truck championship, and to do it in this truck against this group of guys, yeah, man, no better feeling in the world.
All right, anyone you want to thank or shout out for your championship?
Yeah, huge shout out to my teammate Jake Ellingson. He helped me a bunch this week, put in a lot of practice time, not only with me, but by himself, and gave me some pointers. Jeremy Gardner as well. He gave me some pointers over the past couple of days as he was whooping my ass. And then, of course, Jam Printing and Promotions. Love running this paint scheme. Love this truck to death. So it feels awesome to get the 07 Chevy Silverado back in victory lane for the 3rd time this season, but more importantly with the championship. Lincoln Tech, man, gonna be at the Indianapolis campus on May 20th for a big veteran meeting with a lot of their students and staff. So I'm super, super excited about that. We just inked the deal for them to be a sponsor for the remainder of this year and into 2026. So that's incredible to keep Lincoln Tech around. SAVE22, an amazing organization that's done a lot for us, but more importantly, does a lot for veterans all across the country. Yeah, and then the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs and the gracious grant that they gave us, and then you guys up in the booth that kick ass each and every week and call these races. And so hopefully it wasn't too boring for you all. No cautions or anything crazy like that, but it wasn't boring for me. And like I said, we're gonna go celebrate this championship goat locker style. I don't know what that means, but that's what we're gonna do.
Hey, you got a whole night, you got a whole summer series to enjoy. Go enjoy yourself, Patrick Drabick. Congrats on the title.
Yeah.
He is pumped, and after that, we are going to call up into the booth our 2nd place finisher tonight, and Eddie will be standing by with Jake Ellingson.
Well, I've got the 2025 Hidden Wit Brewing Company Xfinity Series champion in here. Was not the champion tonight, was not even in the Final Four, but played a huge part in this race tonight, helping your teammate win the championship. you got that goal done tonight. Talk to me about what the strategy, what was the goal here tonight for the 27 truck.
The goal was just to get Pat in victory lane and to get him that championship. And man, whoa, what an ass whooping we put on everybody. I mean, it was just keeping Pat's head calm, and that was the goal of my race. And it just so happens we ran 1-2 for the entire race, and I couldn't be more stoked that the championship for the Premier Series here is coming home to GLR.
Well, I think we might be in the like multi-dimensional. If you're keeping Pat calm, that's the wildest thing I've heard all week. But yeah, I mean, obviously, good teamwork up front, track position, super important. You guys got it. You got the clean air. You actually traded positions, so Pat had the clean air for that first run, and it made all the difference. Clean driving out here in the field tonight, went green the whole way, played perfectly into y'all's strategy, and so now you've got 2 champions in GLR so far, and the week's not over, but been a pretty solid, good week for you and Pat.
Oh, definitely. Like I said, I couldn't be more stoked to have Pat bring home another championship, home to the team. Couldn't be. It's what we've done here, just this week. 2 out of the 7 championships the championship series that we have. I mean, to bring 2 of them home into a team is tough to do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, this season has been a lot of ups and downs for you, but man, to come in here, help get your teammate a win and get that championship, man, mission accomplished. Congratulations on the second place finish, and the floor is yours, man. Who you got to thank?
I definitely got to thank Lincoln Tech for sponsoring this number 27 for the second season in a row. Happy to get them a podium, and then can't thank Jam Printing and Promotions enough for being a long-term sponsor. SAVE22 for coming on board to be the title sponsor of the Premier Series here. You guys at V-Speed for doing everything that you do on Tuesdays and Friday nights. And then Alexander's PCs for donating their PCs to the veterans for the veteran giveaways. And then last but not least, I can't thank my beautiful daughters and my wonderful wife for allowing me to come out and have fun with you guys.
All right, well, there you have it. Second place finisher Jake Ellingson. If you don't know, actually about a week or so ago, he was T-boned and has broken vertebrae, a broken wrist or something like that. I mean, he's got all kinds of broken bones out here, though, racing every single race since then. So what a trooper, and won a championship also. But Sky Shrek, he's caught up with third place finisher Jeremy Gardner.
Hey, Jeremy, tell me about how you managed the tires, because I think over the course of a long run, you were the fastest car out there.
Yeah, I started from the back tonight. I was trying to be nice to all the guys, let them race it out. I was just trying to run my own race tonight, have some fun. I mean, I got knocked out last week, so hell, I had nothing to show tonight. But that's pretty impressive. I think Next Gen went green flag the entire run Wednesday, and then green flag all the way tonight. So that was fun. I was just trying to be smart tonight. Just be respectful of everybody around me. I didn't want to cause no chaos, no cautions. Just let everybody run it out for the final 4. So that would have been nice there at the first little stint if I could have got to Jake and Pat. But I had my little accident on pit road. Pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, if you didn't have that spin on pit road, do you think you could have won the race?
Yes and no. I probably could have, but I didn't want to ruin Pat's chance, honestly. I mean, honestly, I would have ran him hard. I would have made him earn it, but I think I could have got up there. I just wanted to be smart tonight, just have fun.
All right, well, when you look back over the course of the season, I want to ask, what do you think was your favorite race to run this year?
Probably all the ones I beat Pat. But nah, man, I don't know. I think my favorite race this season was Kansas. Everybody killed me, had me 5 seconds. Everybody had 5 seconds on me running top, and I ran the bottom the whole race and came back towards the very end and just killed it. That was probably the most memorable race I had all season.
There you go. All right. Well, anyone you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, man. First off, congrats to Pat. He ran a hell of a race tonight. I tried to work with him during the week because he was kind of struggling at Texas, and I'm kind of glad he found his line tonight and started, getting a rhythm. So glad to see him come out on top. Of course, him and Jamie, the whole GOR group, appreciate everything they do. SAVE22, appreciate them guys as well for being on my truck, hosting the series. Of course, y'all put on a hell of a broadcast. iRacing, Above the Yellow Line, Sim Motion, and my guys at Premier Racing Setups.
All right, congrats on the podium tonight, Jeremy Gardner.
Sir.
And that'll bring to an end this season of Goat Locker Racing. It's been a great one all throughout. We've had some great races, some great finishes, and congrats to Patrick Drabick on winning the title. We've got the Summer Series coming up, so we will still have some racing here from Goat Locker. Anything you want to add about that, Eddie?
Yeah, can't wait. So much is going on. It seems like it never stops here at Goat Locker. The Summer Series coming up quickly on May the 20th. We've got the 87 Retro Cruising Classics Retro Series Qualifying Challenge, which will be a lot of fun. If you're in Goat Locker, go check that out. There's a sign-up list for that. You're definitely going to have to sign up. And there's a rule and example lap. These guys are going to be taking a 1987 unrestricted car out on the track, going to come down pit road speed at full speed, not pit road speed, trying to stop into a box and then get to the finish line. The best time wins, gets a bunch of GLR prizes. Just a fun way of kind of taking a break from all the serious racing before the Summer Series starts. And we'd like to think that the Summer Series is going to be just a laid-back, easy, ha-ha series, but I can tell you these guys are going to take it seriously, and it's going to be really, really competitive. Lot to look forward to. We've got racing on Sunday with the Truck Series, Monday with the ARCA Series, Tuesday with an 87 Retro Series, and then you got Wednesday going to be running. I'm falling apart here. I don't know.
We got spreadsheet. IndyCar!
Oh my goodness. I'm going to be in huge trouble for that. That's going to be awesome. And definitely didn't just ran it blank. I don't know. Not enough Ginkgo biloba, I guess. And then we're going to have an SRX series and a GT3 series. So we think we're taking it easy. We think we're going to take just take a break here in the summer. And it ain't happening. The racing is going to continue, and it's going to be awesome. Cannot wait for that to get started. A lot of people have put a lot of work into this. Going to be some changes around here, some new voices on the broadcast. We're going to do everything, try to do it in-house on V-Speed. It's going to be amazing. So just can't wait. A lot of good things happening. Don't forget, Goat Locker 79848, all one word. Text it to them. Let them know. And, can't wait.
I was going to say I did sign up for that 87 Pit Road Challenge, and I will probably end it on my roof somehow. For Sky Shrek and Eddie Smith up here in the booth, for everyone at Goat Locker and back at V-Speed, this has been the SAVE22 Truck Series Championship at Texas. It's been a great race. Have a good night.